Well, welcome back to the Now Morning Show. Of course, we continue our beautiful collaboration with the Art Society of Trinidad and Tobago, and every Monday we have brand new artwork on set. Joining us this morning is Kavir Mootoo, definitely an artist with a difference, to share with us some of his beautiful pieces and also some of his inspiration. Good morning, Kavir.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm good, thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you with us on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I mean, of course, because we already know that your art is so much more than work on canvas, as we see. I mean, you're sitting here, you are a walking canvas yourself. So before we get into some of your works, share a little bit about who you are and what you do with us.
Yeah. So I paint on canvas and clothing. My journey into art was, convoluted.
Okay.
I started. My eldest sister is a visual artist and author, and she's 16 years older than I am. So I grew up around art. I grew up, around large canvases, and her paintings in the house, which were, lots of bold colors. Huge paintings, like 5 foot by 5 foot. So the thing is, I was good at science.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I loved art very much, but when you go into secondary school, I was good at science, and I just went down that stream. I ended up doing art in O-levels just at the last minute because it was so. I loved it. However, because, for so many reasons, I went down the road of science and I actually ended up starting dental school and only did 1 year. And I was lucky to get back to art in 2008. My same sister gave me some tools to make lino cut prints. So I started back doing art then, and now I do it full time.
Absolutely fascinating. It's fascinating that you said that you were inspired by science, because many will say science is an art of itself.
Right.
And studying nature and so much more. And if I'm not mistaken, you're inspired by nature. That's just one of your inspirations.
Right. Yeah. No, I still enjoy science. I mean, I think, biology was actually my favorite subject, and I don't regret any of the knowledge. I mean, it is interesting. It's incredibly interesting. I'm very happy for that knowledge that I got.
So while you were in dental school, you're doing science as well. Obviously, art was still somewhere in your heart. So how did you find that balance?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't in your heart.
Interesting. I just left it because I did art at. In O-levels when I was 15 in Form 4, I just went hardcore into science. And at A-levels, I did maths, chem, bio. I started a biology degree in the States. And so all that time, no, I mean, of course, I'm always interested in architecture and fashion. Been interested in fashion since a child, so that's at the back of me. But in terms of doing it, if I went to a city, I'll be looking at the architecture and going to galleries and so on. But in terms of doing it myself, no, I just left it.
Understood. Well, I mean, obviously everything happens for a reason, because what we have on set with us this morning definitely brings that inspiration. But something that you mentioned, which is fascinating, is the fact that with O-levels, you pretty much just did a submission, and that's one of the first pieces that we have on set this morning. Share with us a little bit about this beautiful piece.
Right, thank you. Yeah, so this was done in '89. I was very interested in Van Gogh at the time, and at that stage in someone's art practice, okay, you learn all techniques. So this one was about perspective, And because of my interest in Van Gogh, I was looking at all his brush strokes and, you know, really getting into it. There's a lot of work in the the road, very textured. So there's a lot of color. Obviously, back in 1989, there were no color photocopiers in Trinidad, so I had to get it. But I'm really happy I photocopied it because, you know, the thing is, I was really proud of it as well because,
Of course.
because you know, I'm doing science and doing, you know, all of this stuff, and this was a side thing, and I loved it. So I said, you know, I'm going to photocopy this before I send it, and I'm really happy. You know, 35 years later, I have that record.
35 years later, here you are on the Now Morning Show displaying incredible artwork. Now, this next piece, fascinating as you mentioned before we came on set this morning, is that you don't have names, you have subtitles for your pieces.
Right.
So let's talk about this. You said the subtitle for this was Exorcism, or is rather.
Right, right. So as opposed to the first piece, which is clearly representational or objective art, it's something that I wanted to portray. The way that I work, I've been working the last couple of years, is more of in an expressive manner. So I am working basically for my feelings, my instincts, my emotions, and you know. So what happened with that piece is that I had a breakup.
Right.
That, and you know, I believe that strongly about my work is that it helps like process feelings that are difficult to do in words. So somehow, I don't know, I think when you connect as well with when creating something, you connect with your spirit or something, and that's
no doubt
what I like.
Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. And speaking about connecting with spirit, this next one is called Sparkly. Well, subtitled Sparkly rather. Tell us a little bit about what connected with your spirit to do this.
Yeah. So I started this one in the green area, and I wasn't sure where I was going to go. A friend of mine, at the time, he got on me because he told me that I don't take enough rest, that I'm too intense, and that so I took a break. I came back to it, and I had bought some sparkly red and silver paint. And so when you get in touch with yourself, you know, what are you excited about? Well, that excited me, so I put that on, started. I've been working a lot with solutions of acrylic paint and water. I did that, worked on it. My strokes are very physical and dynamic, so so I just went with it, and it was a different sort of look from normal. So
and talking about something being dynamic, this next one on screen is quite dynamic as well. Did you say this was subtitled Poppies and Reef?
Yeah.
And how did you come about with this piece in particular and the name or the subtitle?
Yeah. So again, just approach in an instinctive manner. I've been very interested when I did this in the sea.
Yes.
So I've been looking at coral reefs as well and all the colors there. So that interested me. And then I had also looked at looking at wildflower meadows in the Alps, and poppies interested me. So.
And it definitely evokes some emotion from you, as we can see now. This final piece well, it's not really the final piece, but it's the final piece we have on set today. This is quite interesting as well. And you've mentioned being dynamic, you've mentioned connecting spiritually and so much more. So what inspired this piece?
Right, the name of this is Beyond Self.
Okay.
And I'd started doing these long canvases because the same sister that I referred to gave me the ends of her canvas, and they were long strips, and it was kind of sort of an interesting challenge to work on. So I got into that, and this was approached a little bit differently. This was done over a long period of time where I said, this is sort of an experiment. I'm just going to go with, what I'm led to at certain points in time. I had also seen a documentary on Netflix about a work of a Chinese artist called Saigo Chang, and he constructed a ladder in the sky that lit up with fireworks. It's quite a labor of love. So I imagined this as a ladder and going into, because that project was referred to the sky as well, I imagine going up to, what it's like being, or meeting myself. Who am I?
That's absolutely incredible. And I can see that coming out of this piece as well, particularly. And I love your choice of color because it evokes so many beautiful things, but especially that of the heart, which is so important to be able to connect. Now, viewers, this is Kavir Mootoo. You can find Kavir Mootoo on Instagram at Kavir Mootoo Art. And hopefully you'll also be able to get some insight into Kavir's incredible fits as well, because as you've seen during the conversation, Kavir is definitely fitted out with an awesome shirt and some great shoes, which shows that art spans. So whether you've started in the arts or perhaps you've been invested in science first, this is your message that you can do anything that you put your mind to. Kavir, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for loading us your artwork for this week as well. We're definitely going to be getting that inspiration as we go about our day.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to have you, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Trinidad and Tobago, this is the Now Morning Show. Stay tuned. We have so much more coming up that you do not want to miss on this edition of Now.